5 ways I improved my sleep. Because I was having a lot of issues with my sleep, and it's something I've always tried to manage and had varying degrees of success. But these are 5 things that have worked really well for me. So the first one is magnesium, which you might be familiar with already as a supplement that's used to improve the quality of your sleep and also how quickly you fall asleep. And I think that's it. But yeah, especially obviously in people who are deficient in magnesium, but also I think especially in people with insomnia, studies have shown magnesium to have a really good impact again on how quickly you fall asleep and on the quality of your sleep. So it's a no-brainer really. It's healthy anyway, it's good for you. I've heard it's best to avoid magnesium oxide, but then I've heard conflicting stuff about this, and some people say that that's not really true and that actually it's fine, but I don't know. But yeah, magnesium citrate is quite affordable usually and seemingly works well. And yeah, I've always had good results with magnesium. It's a really good supplement. It's very good for you, and it's pretty well researched when it comes to sleep, and also has other positive effects on mood and anxiety and things like that. So definitely, if you're not taking magnesium, it's a no-brainer. 2 is controlling stress in general, but also specifically through the use of kind of affirmations and mantras. And this is a thing I started doing recently, which I found really helpful, because I sometimes would try to meditate in bed, and I don't know why. Like I meditate in the day and stuff, and like it's good, but I struggle to do it at night, and I don't know why, or in bed anyway. I struggle to do it in bed. It just doesn't seem to work as a sleep aid for me. But what has worked really well, it sounds kind of weird, this, it's sort of like embarrassing, but I would use affirmations about how tired and relaxed I was even when I wasn't, because like the problem with me with sleep is I'll get into bed and I just get really stressed out and I start thinking about stuff and like all my problems and everything, and I just like get really like uncomfortable and I can't sleep. So I would get into bed and I would start saying to myself, like in my head, not out loud, like I'm so relaxed, I'm so tired, like over and over again, and kind of repeating it in a sort of hypnotic way. And sometimes I'd say I'm so comfortable, and I'd just keep telling myself I was really comfortable and I was really relaxed and really tired, and sometimes I'd say like I can barely stay awake, like I can't keep my eyes open, and it works really well actually. I've sort of been consistently surprised by how well this works, because it's essentially meditation. You're just repeating basically a mantra, except it's one that has like a kind of specific purpose, and it somehow seems to just convince your brain that you are actually tired and relaxed. It's like that thing where people say if you like fake smile for ages, you just start to feel happier, which is kind of deranged and like Joker-esque, but yeah, works well doing this mantra thing. So give it a go next time you're like really stressed out. 3, a weird little claw hand. 3, that's better. 3 is an obvious one, but reading. And sometimes the problem with reading, people think they don't like reading, and I think they just don't have the right books. Like, because you can get books about anything, like literally anything. So anything that interests you, there are books about it. And maybe you're trying to read the classics, you're trying to read books people have recommended to you, you're trying to read books you think you're supposed to like, and you think you don't like reading, but maybe you're just not finding books that are actually suitable for you. What do you read on the internet? What do you read when you're on the toilet? What do you read, what do you look at videos about? Maybe you just look at like oddly satisfying ASMR videos and stuff. There's not a book of that as far as I'm aware. But probably you do read some stuff as well. And when I say reading, I mean on paper, on a book, or maybe a Kindle, but not on a phone, because yeah, that's counterproductive. It's not going to help you sleep most of the time, in my opinion. But there are definitely, I think there's so many books out there, and we're inclined to think like, oh, I either enjoy reading or I don't. I think actually it's a very, very specific thing, like the books that you like generally, unless you're a super open-minded person who loves reading. But normally, I think for most normal people, you do have to really like go out of your way to find things that interest you. And now that I've done this, I really enjoy reading, because I would just I just think like, yeah, I'll just read this book, I should be able to just read this. Like, I'm a grown-up, I can just fucking read this. And then I would just get into bed and I'd be like, man, I fucking hate reading. And then I would get something good, and I was like, oh yeah, this really interests me. And I want to get into bed to read, so I'd get into bed earlier just so I could read. If you have a good enough book, you'll be going to bed at fucking 10:30, like, just so you can have more time to read. And obviously, it's a good way to fall asleep. It exhausts you. It doesn't hurt to have 2 books on the go. Like, for example, at the moment I have one about Orca that I'm like interested in and that I'm enjoying, and then I have a Spanish grammar book, and the Spanish grammar book is good for just really like fucking finishing me off, like when I'm a bit tired, and then I try to read that and I'm just like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep. Like, I can't do this, it's so boring. So yeah, that helps. Yeah, and just make it suitable for you. Yeah. 4, I've got it down now. 4 is well, this isn't for sleeping at night, but naps. I was always a bit opposed to taking naps, but the science says that if you take naps, I think it's between like 20 and 45 minutes. That's like the optimum length of time, that they're really good. And I got into them since moving here, because the place I live in now, there's a lot of noise outside. You might even be able to hear it now. Like, it's very, I don't know why the fuck I moved to an area where there's like loads of bars and stuff. I don't even go out. I live in this fucking noisy area. It's pointless. It's bloody ridiculous. But it's really noisy. And then they fucking collect the bottles from the bottle bank at like 6 a.m. or something. So I'm up till like fucking 1 a.m. listening to all this yelling outside. And then I have to wake up to listen to the bottle bank and all the fucking the lorries and shit. Not the lorries, the recycling trucks. And yeah, for a while I was kind of going, I really was going insane. Like, I couldn't move because I had a contract, and I was just thought I was just going to fucking blow my brains out. I was like, sorry, not to, it's just a video about how to sleep. But yeah, not literally, but I really was like, I just can't handle this. Like, I thought it was just because it's overwhelming, because it's just like I'm fucking stuck here, like, and I can't escape the noise. And I was using earplugs, and anyway, long story short, I started taking naps in the day, and when you get used to it, you get into a pattern of it, and then by the time it gets to time to have a nap, like 2 p.m. or whatever, you start to actually feel really tired. The problem with this is you can only do it if you're self-employed and you choose your own schedule, or if you don't have a job, or you're a fucking student or something. But yeah, they're really good. They feel really nice, and as long as they're not too long, they're great. And at first it's very difficult to fall asleep, but then you get used to it. But again, I believe the key is that they're not too late in the day and they're not too early. They should be like kind of in the middle of the day, directly between when you were last asleep and when you're next going to be asleep. And yeah, they I found significantly improve my mood. Like, I've had times where I felt so depressed and unhappy, and then I'd just have one and I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, everything's fine. Like, I was just being a dick, really. Everything's fine. So yeah, try naps. The thing is, what they say about naps is, if you're having a lot of trouble falling asleep at night, then it's not always a good idea to have naps in the day, because it makes it harder for you to fall asleep at night. So it depends. You have to, again, it has to be right for you. You have to sort of figure out what's right for your situation. But yeah, definitely don't close your mind to the possibility of naps, because they can be really good. 5 is drinking caffeine only in the day. I should say only drinking caffeine in the day. No, that sounds like all you drink is caffeine. You don't even have any. Don't drink caffeine past midday, basically. People think that it's fine, like, and that caffeine lasts a few hours. It doesn't. It lasts way longer than that. The peak effects last maybe 6 hours, maybe less if you have like a huge tolerance, which most people do because they drink way too much caffeine. Almost everybody I've ever met drinks way too much caffeine. Like, I'm super productive, right? I work all day. Like, I finish work, I work on music, I go for a workout, I do videos, I promote videos, I do these things, I work on, like, I never stop. All I do is work. And I have 1 cup of green tea in the morning, and it's fine. Like, you don't need more than that. I'm not saying you shouldn't have more than that. That is quite a small amount, but you fucking don't need like 5 coffees in a day. It's disgusting. It's like way too much. Nobody should do that. It's bad for you. It's stupid. And if you're doing that, you should stop. It's insanity. I know people who drink coffee at night. It fucking hurts my brain to think about. It's crazy. That's like a sickness. So yeah, I probably like, the amount I have is like tiny, like, but it's, yeah, people don't need, like, I think green tea has about like a third or a quarter of what you have in a coffee. I think it's about a third. Yeah, like, if you don't have a huge tolerance, it's fine. Like, it gives you an energy boost. And yeah, I believe the quarter life of caffeine is 12 hours. So if you have a coffee at 4 p.m, that's the equivalent of having a quarter of a cup of coffee at 4 a.m, which not only makes it harder to fall asleep, but it disrupts your REM sleep as well. It severely affects the quality of your sleep. So even if you say, oh, I'm fine, I still fall asleep right after having a coffee, you're not having good sleep. And you might say, oh, I feel fine. Well, you would feel even better then, because, you're not you're not different to all other humans, most likely, almost definitely. So definitely, like, especially obviously for people who are having sleep issues, yeah, caffeine consumption is something that seriously needs to be like looked at, because people underestimate it big time. Dr. Matthew Walker talks about this a lot, and he talks about his whole thing is sleep, and he has a lot of really good information, and I highly recommend checking out his videos on sleep and how important it is, and the effect that like caffeine and alcohol and things like that can have on your REM sleep, because it's very eye-opening and interesting. So yeah, those are my methods. Sorry if you are having bad sleep. It's really not nice. It's so important to sleep well. If you're sleeping badly, it should be the number one priority in your life. It should be important above all else. There's nothing really more important for your health than sleep, and it's like the first step to good health. So if your sleep is messed up, and one thing is, like, I don't want to be like fucking like, but like, just don't make excuses, because a lot of people are just like, yeah, I know, I need to start going to bed earlier, I'm staying up till 4 a.m. and then I get up at 9. I know it's bad, I know. And it's like, well, then just fucking go to bed earlier. Like, just stop it, like, basically. You just, only you can do it. You're not, your mum and dad are not going to help you anymore. Like, you have to kind of just go to bed at a reasonable hour or suffer. Like, and what's the point in prolonging it? If you know that you need to, and you know that you're going to, then just fix it now, because then you have your whole life of sleeping well. And another thing is, like, if you don't miss out on any time. Like, if you go to bed earlier, you just get up earlier anyway. Like, because some people, they go to bed really late and then they get up really late. Well, all you're doing is missing hours of sunlight and missing daytime activity where you can actually, like, make money and people are around and the world is functioning. And you're just like messing up your cycle for no reason. You're not even getting extra time. You're not winning. You're not cheating life. You're just probably, like, making yourself unhappy. So, like, yeah, the sooner you can sort out your sleep, the better, I think, really. But yeah, not to be all fucking, naggy about it or whatever. But yeah, good luck with it anyway, and yeah, hope some of these tips were useful.